Hey there folks, it's Scott once again and welcome to another video. Hopefully I'll be able to keep this short. It's Cowboys related and it's some recent news. Sometime late afternoon the Cowboys reached an extension with Baker, linebacker Jaylon Smith. He was, I believe he signed for 6 years, either 5 years, 6 years, for about 5 years, 64 million contract, 35.5 million guaranteed for the first several years. What can I say? Jaylon Smith has really kind of elevated his play the last year. Especially considering where he was at and I mean, he may have been considered somewhat of reach, but before this gruesome injury that he suffered, I'll have to kind of look him up. Jaylon Smith was a highly touted linebacker. That would have been at least in the top 5, top 10. Linebackers, if not for that injury. So let me go back and just make sure that what type of injury it was. It was something knee related for sure, or no, it's something to do with his nerve or something. So let me go and get in the more specifics here. Jaylon Smith. He suffered a knee injury in the first quarter of this Fiesta Bowl game. It was confirmed that he was diagnosed with tears to the ACL and the LCL, and actually underwent some knee surgery on both ligaments. Early January, or specifically January 7th, 2016. And he would eventually forgo his remaining eligibility and enter the 2016 draft. And we drafted him in the second round of right after Zeke. You can definitely say that the 2016 draft was definitely the draft that really impacted that team this year and in the oncoming years, because we got their most talented players in there. We got, of course, Zeke, and I'll get to that little situation later on in the video. Of course, Jaylon Smith was drafted next. Next, I believe, was Malik Collins, who's a defensive tackle, and all the reports in training camp has claimed that he's looked really good. The only problem he's dealt with was foot injuries, especially in training camp. I believe he broke his foot twice. I think this was last year, and actually his rookie year he broke his foot. And then, of course, our fourth round picks were, I think we only had one, maybe two, but one of them was Dak Prescott. Let me look back. Charles Tapper was the first one, actually, and he's no longer on the team because he had some injury problems that were something like back related. And we also got Anthony Brown, Kevon Frazier, Darius Jack, and Rico Gathers, who's also not on this team. Only 2 members from that draft are not on there, but so far we still have them on here. But I have a feeling that maybe Kevon Frazier could be on the outside. But anyways, getting to the Jaylon Smith, he's a very high character player, and it's great that they got him on this extension because his play has really elevated, and I believe this will be the year for him. You can technically say this is his 4th year, but he did not start his entire season in 2016 because of that injury. He would start in the 2017 season, where unfortunately he had his ups and downs, but he showed some good potential. Then in 2018, he really started to showcase, and I believe this is the year he finally gets it down. Him, along with Leighton Vander Esch, they're definitely going to be a dynamic duo for sure in the defense. He's the heart and soul. He's definitely a leader, and he says he really wants to be a Cowboy. He remains committed to this team, and this, I haven't watched the press conference, but I'm pretty sure it's very well spoken, and apparently Jerry got teary-eyed about that, and he kind of took his shots at Zeke because Zeke is a very he's a very impactful player that we had. He's definitely made a difference in the running game. Unfortunately, it's the character issues that he has, holding out this year, which I understand. You want to be the highest paid running back. I understand that. You deserve your money, but come on, don't be a bit selfish. And but it's also kind of on Jerry too. Fortunately, he said that joke, Zeke who, and that pretty much, I guess you could say, propelled Zeke to return back to Cowboy. And before I know, this could be all part of a power play that may be to the leverage for his contract, so to speak. So, anyways, hopefully both sides, both Zeke and Jerry, can come to an agreement, something that will be beneficial on both sides, and eventually, hopefully, we can get Amari and then Dak. And Dak apparently wants $40 million, and honestly, he's not worth that much. I mean, $30 million is more than enough to justify his playing, and even then, I think it's a bit too much. But unfortunately, there's a salary cap, and you can't pay everyone. But hopefully, the whole situation will be resolved before the start of the season, because we got 2 preseason games left, and just hopefully all the contract situations will be straightened out, and we can, they keep focused on all the teams they will face in the upcoming season, and go from there. And hopefully everything falls into place. We start becoming the team that we were wanting to be, since Garrett took over. There's a big question mark. But anyways, I'm just very glad that Jaylon Smith got signed, and he's pretty young. He's only 24, and we got him for at least 6 years, so we're going to be getting some varying injuries. But sorry, I got distracted by apparently Everything Star Wars commented on my video. Thank you for that comment. But anyways, it's really good to see that a guy like Jaylon Smith, get a contract extension this early, after a fairly productive season, and then he's definitely entering his prime years, and we're going to get we're going to reap the benefits of that, hopefully. He's a very high character guy, does everything right, it's a player you definitely want on your team, a leader, a man that is passionate about football, is a man that really embraces the football and the team concept. There's no questioning Jaylon Smith, and that injury is not always easy to come back for. Apparently, there was, I think, nerve damage, and it took him a while, but he was able to get the nerves firing back. I remember reading all about that, checking up on the Cowboys zone forums, about this guy, and I'm very glad that we got him back, and I'm very glad that he was becoming this player that we all dreamt of having, that we got in the second round, despite his injury. So I look forward to a good part of that defense, especially with Jaylon and Leighton. Hopefully we can actually lock up Leighton eventually. And hopefully, Zeke can stop being a selfish asshole to some degree, because he needs to understand that Jerry, backed him up during that whole suspension drama that occurred in 2017 that eventually got him suspended for 6 games for something he probably didn't even really do, and he was found guilty on that. It sucks, but come on, Zeke, wake up. And Jerry, I understand you feel entitled to make the joke. I understand that. You are the GM, the one that always likes to have the attention, but sometimes you got to keep your fucking mouth shut once in a while. Get your little contract worked out with Zeke and all the others, and go on an island and take a rest and shut up and drink your whiskey and whatnot and do all that. So keep a lid on your mouth, for crying out loud, because sometimes I really don't like what you say sometimes. And anyways, you know what I mean. Just keep your mouth shut for a little bit. But yeah, I think that should do it. And I'll make an overview of what happens in the preseason games. We were 1-1. I liked what we saw with Cooper Rush, and what I saw with Dak, and Tony Pollard has looked pretty decent concerning where he was drafted. But the backup quarterback situation, I'm still a little sketchy on, and Maher as a kicker is really shaky, and if he misses another kick, it's time for us to look elsewhere if we haven't already. So But yeah, you know what? I think that should do it. Whatever video I come up with next, hopefully, you know, it might be a movie review. Supposedly, I got one vote that apparently a lot of people want to see the Naked Gun trilogy, and I do have that Blu-ray set. So maybe if y'all want to see that, I'll be happy to do that. So yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up, and hopefully you like what you saw here. You know, if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and you know, feel free to sub to my channel, and hopefully you like the content that I bring, and I'll be glad to bring you more of it. So yeah. Alrighty, well, I'll see you folks in another video at some point, okay? Later. And sorry, apparently I thought I was ready I was reading something. But anyways, I'll see you in another video, my fellow subs. Later.